In this video, I'm going to install the i3-13100f into the Aorus B660m Pro AX DDR4 motherboard. Just bought this, got it used. Might have an issue with the pins, so hopefully everything's going to go good. Currently, this is one of the cheapest, CPUs I have, so it's going to hopefully survive this. All right, so pop that open. And when I got this, if you watched the unboxing video, it did not have a cap on it. You can just barely see, I think, depending on how the light is, there's some damage to the pins right in that area. So hopefully they're duplicate pins and we don't need them. Now on this, there's a triangle. We're going to match that up with the CPU. So down, we need a little more light, folks. We need more light than that even. There we go. So down in this bottom corner, right? So we're going to drop this down. And I wish I still had my Celeron, because that would be the CPU that I use to donate. I say donate, but to test this out. All right. Dropping this down, that'll pop off. I always double check to make sure my CPU didn't move around. Looks good. Drop this hammer down, and boom, that's in place. All right. So now I have a bunch of these different backing plates. Who knows which one actually came with this, but you'll see they're going to look like this. Threaded posts on the inside. We'll use this one. I think it's the one I used last time. And if you have the tape and you're going to make this almost a permanent thing, go ahead and use that. I have to slide this off from the side of the counter back on so it stays on there, all right? Keep your hand under it till you make contact with the counter and then slide it in. All right, now we've got that out of the way. Let's drop some thermal paste on there. We're going to use some Thermalite. I got a bunch of this because I just recently bought a ton of their CPUs, or their CPU coolers, I should say. I can't even get the lid off that one. We'll try this Thermalite if I can get the lid off. Wow, can't get that lid off either. All right, there we go. So we'll just put a nice big blob in the middle on this one. And sometimes I'll do 3 lines, sometimes I'll do 5 dots. In this case, we're doing a big blob. Pretty much symmetrical, so you don't have to worry about your which side the fan goes or RAM clearance. Don't believe we're going to have any issues with RAM clearance. We do need to make sure we line these up right though. And these things, the pins do adjust. So try and get a couple threads on this one. I'm going to pull it up. Yeah, there we're good. Now we're going to go across diagonally and get that one hopefully. So I have uninstalled and installed this a whole bunch of times. It's a trooper. There will come a day, I'm sure, where it will no longer work. Now this CPU cooler, folks, has been, as far as a CPU cooler that I've made money on, my best one, right? Before the big guys started showing this CPU cooler, I had one. It's one of my more popular videos, and we won't get into how much money it's made me, but it's done all right. But we've installed this ever since that one awesome video. I've installed this in a ton of CPUs, hoping to find that magic again, right? I think most of you, though, are at this point, you know, buying whatever. Part of the magic with this was originally it was 20 bucks. And it worked great, right? Now they're like $35. And there's a lot of $20 ones out there that are just as good, if not better. I had a couple, we bought 3, actually, I think we were at 5 or 6 Thermalright CPU coolers, but bought 3 that were under 30 bucks. One of those is definitely, I would say, better than the CPU cooler. That was the Burst Assassin 120. Alright, so there's that. Now people always ask, hey, make sure you show the RGB hookup. So let's go ahead and do that now. Or excuse me, ARGB. So in this corner there's RGB and then there's ARGB, the one that's missing pins, so there's 3. And let's see if we can do this before I put the fan in, that way you guys can see it. So we just go ahead and put that in, make sure you see the connection. You want to make sure you come in 90 degrees. If it doesn't go in, don't force it, boom. And then when you actually do line it up perfect, it fits in there just like that. Now our 4-pin PWM, I'm not going to lift this one up, but the light gray one back here is the CPU fan header, and we're going to hopefully get that on there. This is kind of an awkward position. You do not want to bend these pins, so boom, that's in. Hopefully you saw that. Now, here is our fan on our CPU cooler. This is the intake side. This is exhaust. You want the intake, the air to come through here, and exhaust out of the fan over the heatsink, right? So you got cool air coming in, cool air exhausting onto the warm heatsink, and then out the other side. All right. So let's go ahead and get this figured out. Now, there's a whole lot of wires on here, and as people have mentioned, you can start to wrap this 90 degrees, or you can do a half-ass job like I did with the twist ties. Whatever floats your boat, right? Now, these brackets, they're tricky. I get a lot of people that are wondering, hey, how do I put these brackets on? Well, let's demonstrate that. These are easy to screw up. So the one thing I would complain to Vetroo about is the hooks are not deep enough on this thing, and they should have used the top mount. When I say top mount, I mean they should have ran them from here. Alright, so there's one. And these, you know, do not want to stay in position, hence why I'm doing one at a time and holding it. And it wouldn't hurt if you had extra set of hands. So, saw how they're both hooked up there. And then, what are you doing in here, cat? One of the cats is in here. And voila. Alright, so this looks terrible with the wires everywhere. Finding a place to tuck those away would be a good thing. It's nice they're nice and long, but the fact that they are what they are. Now, make sure whatever RAM you put in this, folks, that you actually go and double check that it is compatible, right? So, I have not actually checked mine. I have a ton of RAM, and I'm going to grab some and put it in here. So, Last I checked, I think this is pretty compatible with Aorus and Gigabyte. RAM can go in only one way. One of these is shorter than the other. Same down here. This is shorter on that side. Alright, so let's act like we have just one pair of RAM. Alright, I would stick one in here and the other over here. Alright, that's nice dual channel. Now we got more RAM. We'll use all of these up. You can just hear the cat crawling around up here, about to break something. There, get lost, cat. It's not my cat, so if it was my cat, I'd let him up here, wreck everything. All right, so that one didn't snap so good. The rest of them are good. All right, of course, we had an M.2. We would stick it in here for extra storage. This would be where you want to put your operating system. The other things you're going to need, folks, to get this fired up: 24-pin power connector here. On the second row, third and fourth pins, you have your power switch. All right, you want to connect that from your case. And then what else do we need, folks? In the back here, just need to hook up, honestly you could do 1x4, but 1x8, just make sure it's powered up. Depending on what CPU you have, you know, you may or may not want the extra